Hey everyone, Sam Signorelli, H1 Fencing. Welcome back to Icanaz Armory. Today, an aftermarket fix I came up with to solve a problem Favero did not want to solve. Some of you may have seen the video put up on the fencing subreddit or on my Facebook page, that's under my name, that showed a Favero spring exploding. When I was working on it, I was trying to replace the spring pack. I was making a video on it, in fact, and the spring shot out. And this is the pack that exploded. If you look inside, see this kind of all this gunk right here? That is, I think, dried grease. This spring dates back to 2004, 16 years old. And I think what happened was the drum sits on top of this. When it lifted the drum up, it pulled the spring out and came shooting out because there's no cover on this. This is the problem I've told Favero about. They've not fixed. When the spring pack comes to you, it is bolted together with these bolts here, but there's no cover on top. That's the way it ships. That's the way it's put in. It ships with a cover on top. This cover is only there to keep the spring from coming out when it's shipping and waiting for it to be installed. It does not fit, because it's so tall, it does not fit under the drum. However, I came up with an aftermarket fix. Okay, about 1.5 millimeters. This is a PLA and 3D printed, and it fits right on top of the drum, covers the spring, and I'll show you how that works. Stand by. Okay, so I've taken the new spring and I've already cut the tie wraps that hold the top cover on, or taking them off. So take it off here. This is now trash. This is worthless. So this is what it looks like when it goes into the drum. It goes into the reel. There is no top cover because the drum sits directly on top of it, and that's the cover. The problem, as I said, has been that the spring can shoot out. This happens on the Ullmans and Leon Pauls too, slightly different manner, but it's still exploding spring is still a risk. So I'm now going to take this cover, put it on top, and tie wrap it down, and I'll show you how it works. Stand by. Okay, so to show you again, this is the casing each of the springs sits in. There are 3 of them stacked together, and they're rotated slightly so all these holes here kind of line up around, and they're isolated by the fact that these are bottom plates, so the bottom 2 springs can't go anywhere. The top one's exposed. So the cover lines up with the one outside holes. Put the tire from the line up right and put the tire up through. Hang on a second. Goes through. There it is. I'm not going to tighten that. And then like this all the way around. And the end result looks like this. So see, it's tie up down. I have the big portion, the little lock area facing below the top surface, so it minimizes how much this projects up because the clearances inside are kind of tight. This is not going to the spring loose. There's also no way for the cover to pull the spring up because it's entirely covered. So I can now put this on a reel, and this spring is a February 2020 manufacture. It's very recent. So if this spring comes up in 2040, it's not going to pop the spring out. So this is now much safer than it was before. I don't know why Favero won't fix it. Actually, I know why Favero won't fix it. It costs money because it costs money to make the mold, to injection mold these parts. They're very, very expensive. This is 3D printed. I came up with the design, the initial design, in about an hour. This is a couple more days of tinkering with it. This first print didn't work out. And keep in mind, this is from someone whose only engineering background is my dad was an aeronautical engineer. This came up and I did the original design in Photoshop, and then I found a program that converted Photoshop files to STL files, which is how stereolithography, how the 3D print works. Went on Tinkercad, did fine tuning, had a client print it for me, and that is the cover for Favero reel. And I will now put this on the reel and see if it works, if it impedes the rotation of the drum. I don't think it's going to. As always, happy armoring.